All right, let's jump right into it. We are talking NFL 2025. It's going to be a wild ride. Coaching changes, playoff battles, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just, scores and stats, right?
Absolutely.
This is about, dynasties changing, new strategies. You got all these young players coming up ready to really leave their mark.
Yeah, and we're basing our deep dive today, on this recent article. It's called NFL 2025, Breaking Down Coaching Changes, Playoff Showdowns, and Draft Day Intrigue.
Right. In this article, it really captures, the excitement, all this anticipation. Because the NFL is always changing, always evolving.
And that is what makes it so great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's dive into this thing, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the coaching carousel. It's crazy, like musical chairs, right? Some of these moves are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the Patriots. What's going on over there?
Yeah. The Patriots, a dynasty. But now, they're in flux. They had a rough season. Mayo's out. So now the big question mark, right? Is this it?
The end of the Belichick era.
Is this the end of the Belichick era?
Wow. I mean, really makes you think, what direction are they going to go?
Yeah.
Will Belichick find another, another protege? Will he find someone to carry on his legacy?
Right.
Or are we going to see, a complete new approach to New England?
I mean, this is like uncharted territory, right?
Yeah.
They've been so consistent for so long.
Yeah.
And their decisions, they impact the entire league.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams are definitely going to be watching how they rebuild, how they adapt.
And speaking of huge changes, Tom Brady in the Raiders front office.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Pierce leaving, that opened the door for this crazy move. I'm still processing this one, to be honest.
Tom Brady.
The guy who built a dynasty in New England.
Yeah.
Now he's calling the shots in Vegas.
It's more than just a personnel change.
It's huge.
This could be a complete, cultural earthquake.
Wow.
Imagine the impact on the Raiders locker room, their scouting, their whole approach.
So will he try to, replicate the Patriots' success in Vegas? Will he look for veteran players who fit his style?
Right. Or will he be more modern, use analytics to build the roster?
It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think anyone would be surprised to see some familiar faces from New England join him in Vegas.
Yeah.
But this is also a chance for him to do his own thing, put his stamp on the Raiders, shape them,
This is why I love the offseason. It's it's a chess match. Every single move triggers a chain reaction.
It does.
And with Brady now, it's the stakes are even higher.
Absolutely.
It's like a passing of the torch in a way.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest players ever steps into a new role, shaping the future of the league.
From a completely different perspective.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. Playoffs.
Okay.
The Kansas City Chiefs are the team to beat. This article even suggests they could be on track for a three-peat.
Right.
But even with that, there are still some interesting storylines coming up.
The Chiefs, they are definitely a force. But, you got to look at their record against other playoff teams. It's not as dominant.
Yeah, good point. There are definitely teams out there who think they can knock them off.
Yeah. For instance, the article highlights the Philadelphia Eagles. They've had a pretty easy defensive schedule. But can they really hold up against teams like the Packers in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a big question mark.
Right.
The Eagles have a solid defense.
They do.
But they haven't been really tested.
Right.
The playoffs are a different animal.
Totally.
We'll see if they can maintain that dominance against top-tier offenses.
Playoffs are all about those matchups, and that's why they're so exciting, right? I mean, you could have a team that just dominates in the regular season, but then they struggle in the playoffs against a specific opponent.
You see that all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes the underdog, they rise to the occasion.
Those upsets, those are the best.
They are.
But, that brings us to another interesting point. Playoff seeding. The Lions wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He started this whole debate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Arguing that teams with better records should always host playoff games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. His argument really raises questions about fairness.
Mm-hmm.
How important is consistency in the regular season?
Yeah.
But then I also wonder if you just guarantee home field advantage based only on record, does that take away some of the drama, the excitement of the playoffs?
Yeah, I see your point. With the current system, a team can have a slightly worse record, but if they peak at the right time, they can still go far. It adds that unpredictability.
Yeah, let's find that balance.
Yeah.
Rewarding consistency but keeping that underdog story alive.
Right. And let's be real, home field advantage, it doesn't guarantee a win.
Not at all.
We've seen tons of upsets in the playoffs. That just proves momentum, and heart can sometimes be more powerful than playing at home.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just need that fire.
Yeah, that desire. Yeah, for sure. But, some teams, they're really feeling the heat right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Cowboys,
Yeah.
the Dolphins, high expectations. And if they don't, go deep in the playoffs, we could see some major changes coming in the offseason.
Big time. That pressure,
The NFL pressure cooker.
Yeah, it's real.
It can lead to a complete overhaul.
Absolutely. But let's talk about building for the future, right?
Okay.
The NFL draft. Dreams are made, futures are forged.
The draft, it's a gamble. It's like a lottery, right? But also, it's a chess match.
Totally.
It's where teams find these hidden gems, the players that are going to define the next generation.
So this year, the Tennessee Titans,
Yep.
they have that #1 pick.
Right.
And this article, it suggests they've got a big decision to make.
A huge decision.
A franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Or do they go defense? Do they pick up a game-changing talent on that side of the ball?
It's the classic dilemma, right?
Yeah.
You've got Caleb Williams. Everyone's saying he's a generational quarterback prospect.
He's amazing.
And then you've got Marvin Harrison Jr., this wide receiver prodigy. Yeah. The Titans, they've got a tough choice. It comes down to their long-term strategy, Do they think they're just a quarterback away from being a real contender?
And it's not just about the Titans, it's about the ripple effect.
Right.
Every pick in the draft, it can shift the balance of power, create those rivalries. It can create storylines for years to come.
Absolutely. And you can't forget about free agency.
Oh, yeah.
March is going to be crazy.
Free agency is wild.
Teams are going to be scrambling, trying to fill those holes in their rosters, making those moves that could take them to the next level.
It's like a giant puzzle, Trying to put all the pieces together. Draft picks, free agency, trades.
Right.
And of course, you've always got the salary cap there looming in the background.
It's that balance, right?
Yeah.
Building for now, but also investing in the future.
Exactly. And it just shows how strategic this game is.
Yeah.
It's not just about raw talent. It's about managing those resources, making smart decisions, trying to predict what your opponent is going to do.
It's a mental game as much as it is a physical one.
This article, it also talks about some of the bigger trends shaping the NFL. One that really jumped out at me was the rise of analytics.
Yeah.
Data, it seems like it's becoming more and more important every part of the game.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a shift, Yeah. We're moving away from those gut feelings, traditional scouting.
Yeah.
Now it's all about data. Teams are relying on these advanced metrics like the ESPN Football Power Index.
Yeah.
That uses an algorithm to predict team performance and how valuable players are.
And, for those who might not know, the Football Power Index, it looks at everything. Strength of schedule, offensive and defensive efficiency, even injuries.
Oh, yeah.
All of that to predict how teams are going to do in the future.
It's powerful. A really powerful tool.
It is.
It helps teams make better decisions, draft picks, game strategies, everything.
Right.
And you're seeing it change how coaches approach the game, how players are evaluated, even how fans experience the sport.
It's amazing how data is changing the game.
It is.
It's like this whole new layer of strategy and complexity makes the NFL even more intellectually stimulating.
For sure.
But speaking of evolution, last year's rookie class, they had some real breakout stars.
Oh, yeah. Some incredible talent.
Who do you think is going to take their game to the next level in 2025?
Okay, a few names that come to mind. Definitely keep your eye on the quarterbacks, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. They showed some serious potential last season.
They did.
And now, with a year under their belt, I think they could really make an impact.
I'm also excited about Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver. He didn't play a huge role last year, but the potential was there.
You could see it.
I think with more playing time, he could be a real difference maker.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the defensive rookies, Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson. Those guys are fierce.
Yeah.
Pass rushers who could cause serious problems for quarterbacks. If they can stay healthy and keep developing, they could be Pro Bowlers.
It's always fun to watch that young talent come in and shake things up.
Yeah, it is.
And with the offseason looking like it's going to be a wild one, with potential trades, free agent signings, maybe even some surprise retirements.
Oh, always a few surprises.
It's going to be interesting to see how the NFL landscape changes.
The offseason is where dynasties are built.
Yeah.
And dreams are shattered. It's a time of, hope and uncertainty.
It is.
And it all leads up to the draft. That's where the future of the NFL takes shape, one pick at a time. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
For sure. And, this is more than just entertainment, right?
Yeah.
This is about a sport that is woven into, the fabric of American culture. It's evolving.
Absolutely. And all these changes on the field, the front offices, even how we analyze the game.
Yeah.
It's all connected to bigger cultural shifts, you know? It's data versus gut feeling, tradition versus innovation. Everyone wants that edge.
We've talked about a lot in this deep dive. Coaching changes, playoff drama, the draft, the rise of analytics. It's clear that the NFL in 2025, it's at a crossroads. It's where the past meets the future.
It really is.
And looking ahead, I think it's so important to consider, like, the long-term effects of these trends. Data analytics, for example.
Right.
It's changing the game right now. But how is it going to keep evolving? Will it make things more fair? Or will it create, like, new dynasties built on algorithms and stats?
Right, right.
It's a question that I keep coming back to. What impact do you think, data analytics will have on the game, like 5, 10, even 20 years from now? Will it make the game predictable? Or will it lead to even more strategy and, like, innovation, stuff we can't even imagine yet?
It's a question that people are going to be debating for years. And the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, right? I mean, data can definitely give you insights, but it can't replace the human element, the unpredictable moments, the brilliance, the heartbreak. That's what makes sport so compelling.
That's what we love, right?
Exactly.
We've just scratched the surface of what the NFL's future holds, but one thing is certain. It's going to be a wild ride.
It is.
So keep your eyes open, your minds open, and be ready for the unexpected. Because in the NFL, anything can happen.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about the wins and losses. It's about the stories, the rivalries, the legacies, what's built, what's broken, They're every season. So enjoy the ride. Really savor every moment. Because the NFL, it's more than just a game. It's a reflection of us, our passions, our love for competition.
Well said. And on that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us on this deep dive into the future of the NFL. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep talking about it, because the future of this game, it's in our hands.